welcome back to Bakery Live. In this exclusive session, I'm joined by Simon Bird, who is the Global Business Director of Food Enzymes at IFF, and we are going to be discussing the exciting prospects of a dough strengthener enzyme to overcome challenges and create opportunities in the bakery sector. Hello, Simon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Joseph, and hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here.
To begin with, I wanted to ask you if you could give us an overview of the general landscape at the moment, explain perhaps the primary challenges that you think the bakery industry is facing today, particularly in terms of production costs.
Yeah, I think everyone that's been involved in the bakery industry knows it's been probably a cataclysmic change over the last 2 years. What was once considered a very stable sector has been impacted by rising production costs, driven by the volatile global economy, but also volatile raw material costs. Now, the bakery industry is not adverse to making changes. Of course, they have to do changes in crops and things like that, but this increased volatility really is having to make people look to see. The increased volatility in raw materials, particularly, is really having to make people look to see how they are running their operations and making sure that they're optimizing their recipes. If we look at really what the drivers have been, if you look at the wheat market, okay, yes, the wheat market's got much more stable in 2024, and we expect the wheat crop to be and the wheat production globally to be relatively stable. I think there's still a challenge when it comes to the quality of the wheat crop and the volatility that's associated there. This means that often bakeries and millers are having to compete for high quality grain. It's coming at a premium, and it's prompting bakeries to look at sourcing from different regions, using flour correction strategies. That means that are able to save on costs. Obviously, the quality of the wheat goes hand in hand, as well as using vital gluten. We know that the gluten prices globally have been quite erratic. Yes, they're much more stable in 2024, and they're kind of mirroring the wheat costs. But the previous dependency on utilizing gluten as that tool to overcome problems, I think, is making a lot of people question whether that's the right strategy moving forward. So it's been a very volatile experience, I think, for everyone for the last 2 years. IFF has been working with customers very closely to make sure that we're optimizing recipes today, so we're able to continue to deliver the goods that consumers want, but also making sure that we bring innovation as we look to the future and solving the problems of the future.
And to touch upon one of the trending topic words and hugely growing demands from consumers, that is sustainability, what role would you say that this plays in the current and future strategies of bakery businesses, and how does IFF's new enzyme align with these goals?
Yeah, so sustainability is becoming a major trend that the bakery industry is quite clearly sitting up and addressing. I think before it's been very much a buzzword, but now it's something that we really must tackle collectively as an industry. You can look at sustainability in a number of different ways, whether it's label-friendly solutions, whether it's reducing food waste at the consumer, but also, I mean, industrial bakeries themselves making sure that they reducing the amount of food waste that they are, or bread waste that they are generating during their process. And this is really where dough strengthening enzymes can play a key part, and also support the cost savings when it comes to utilizing lower quality flour or reducing vital gluten, where these are tools that have been used in the past to make sure that they are reducing the food waste in industrial bakeries. So we have an extensive portfolio of strengthening enzymes when it comes to lipases. We utilize those to make sure that industrial bakeries are able to get the desired volume, the desired appearance, especially when working with flour that has that lower protein content. Enzymes are a really good cost-effective solution, but there has been challenges with utilizing enzymes. So industrial bakeries have had to make a choice whether using label friendly, having a robust solution, or having cost effectiveness. The benefit of utilizing the new lipase that we've innovated allows us to not have to compromise on one of those areas. So our next generation of patented lipase technology is a reliable and effective alternative to the current solutions that are available on the market, able to offer superior performance in a vast number of applications.
Well, I'm glad you just touched upon the benefits there, because I'm going to move into that in a moment. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you about technology. I imagine that has played a crucial role. So could you elaborate a little bit on the technological advancements behind this next generation dose strengthener enzyme and what makes it unique compared to previous solutions?
Industrial bakeries have had to make a choice. Where you have traditional emulsification technology or using clean label lipase technology. The challenge with utilizing lipase, the existing lipase technology that was on the market, is the way that it operates is to generate in situ emulsifiers. Unfortunately, it's seen that once you get over to a certain dose level, you actually see the degradation of the emulsifiers that the enzyme's actually producing. So it means that you're never really at the point that is the most efficient, because you need to have that barrier, that buffer that allows for that process fluctuation. So customers have had to make a choice. Do they want the clean label and the cost effectiveness, or do they need the robustness of the traditional emulsification technology? Really, where Innovera, the trade name with this patented lipase technology, differentiates is where we have this robustness. So you are able to dose to a much higher level, and it doesn't start to generate or degrade those in situ generated emulsifiers, which means that you no longer have to choose between a robust solution and a clean label solution. This is an all-in-one solution. We've already had this available in the US market last year, and we've recently introduced it into Europe. And it's a product that's designed for bakery manufacturers to reduce their reliance on vital gluten and really challenge those challenging applications where traditional emulsification technology has been the only choice.
And would you say that the enzyme helps bakers to maintain dough strength and tolerance during production under varying conditions? And if so, could you explain how?
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to explain in the previous question, right? Is that by having this robustness, you're able to achieve a superior performance from existing emulsification technology. We've seen, and our studies show that the change between shocked and unshocked using this generation of lipase is far superior from the solutions that we currently have on the market. This means that you have a much higher tolerance when it comes to shocks to the system, which makes sure that industrial bakeries are allowed to, or are able to maintain that quality, maintain that volume, meaning that when the bread is eventually coming out at the other end of the line, it's meeting the quality criteria that consumers quite rightly expect, and reducing the waste that bakery is seeing.
And to elaborate a little bit on that point of reducing waste, in what ways does the new enzyme contribute to that waste reduction and also preserve the quality and volume of the baked goods?
Yeah, so it's going to this notion that we are able to dose it at a much higher level, and we are able to have a much more optimal formulation, which means that because we can generate a higher level of in situ emulsifiers, it means that it has a much stronger dough, and it's able to maintain its volume. So this is where the waste comes from the stop-start nature that we see in industrial bakeries. It means you're able to resist that change. You're not having to throw away material because it's collapsed on the line. This is a significant improvement and gives a lot of flexibility to bakeries in the way that they operate.
And what would you say are the key benefits of the enzyme in terms of cost reduction for industrial bakers?
Yeah, so I think it's tailored. So Innovera itself is tailored for a wide range of different applications, but it really has a superior performance in those really challenging systems where the traditional dose strengthening solutions fail. So this is where customers have been much more reliant on the likes of added gluten to give that reassurance that they can maintain the volume. By reducing gluten as well as the traditional emulsification technology, it means that you have a better cost position that you're able to switch out, and also you're reducing by removing gluten, you're removing the exposure of your formulation to an ingredient that we've seen quite high volatility in the past, and we don't know really what the future holds for it. So enzymes in general are known for being cost effective compared to other solutions. But as I said before, I think the challenge has been is that people have had to make a choice. Do I want a cost effective solution that's clean label that hasn't been as robust as traditional emulsification technology? Or do I want that robustness? And this is where we're excited to give this new innovation, because it really means that you don't have to make that choice any longer.
And just to delve into a bit more detail around that topic of gluten and gluten replacement, could you discuss the potential impact of this enzyme on formulations that do require gluten replacement?
Yeah, I mean, we've been very happy with what we've been able to achieve in an industrial setting. So, as I mentioned before, Innovera has been available on the US market for some time, and in white bread, we've been able to reduce gluten by anywhere between 30 to actually fully replacing gluten in those recipes. But it's obviously very much dependent on the formula and the process, and we rely on our applications team to be very much hands-on with customers to make sure that we're tailoring the application to achieve those targets. One of the great areas where we see the application for this technology is in the more challenging systems like whole wheat. And here we've been able to show up to a 50% reduction in vital gluten at the same time as replacing the existing improver or emulsification technology. So you can see that with the ability to replace so much, it is a really robust and strong strengthening solution. So it's great to have it in the portfolio and to be able to bring that value to customers.
And just to finish off, thinking about moving forwards, further progression, and a future outlook, what would you say in terms of opportunities that this enzyme might open up for bakery businesses, and how do you think it might change the bakery industry?
Yeah, so this is really opening up a new avenue, and especially into as I mentioned before, into those areas where probably enzymes haven't been performing as well in the past. It's opening up a new area of clean label for industrial bakeries. It's also lowering production costs while maintaining that consistency. So maintaining the consistency of the high quality product. So this will ultimately, from a commercial point of view, it will ultimately benefit industrial bakeries for sure. But it's also opening up areas into where perhaps previously clean label solutions weren't considered an option. So it's opening a whole new avenue of, okay, what can we do in these spaces where we have very highly stressed systems that need that very robust, that very strong strengthening solution.
Well, it all sounds very exciting, Simon. Thank you very much for joining us. And I do hope that, innovations like these really do help the bakery industry to continue raising its game. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much, Jofis, and thanks very much for the time.